All right, guys. I am feeling incredibly excitable right now, which is really strange. Very, very strange. It's not something that conventionally occurs when you're schizoid. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling intense. I don't know if it's anger or what it is. It's almost like a schizoid mania. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good about what I've been doing with this. I don't know how to really describe it entirely. It's I haven't felt good about anything external in many, many years. I spent 7 years going to college and university and whatever, and then grad school, and I focused all my attention on whatever money I was making and school I was doing and everything, and all my intellectual pursuits were academic, and I felt nothing. I felt shit. I enjoyed a lot of the topics I was discussing and bringing up in various classes and everything, but I didn't really care about the dynamic of the university, the social aspect of it. It's never clicked. I didn't like the politics. I didn't like any of that stuff, and I didn't feel good doing it. And I kept doing it because I thought, oh well, this has to eventually feel good, right? This scholarly pursuit. No, it didn't. It never did. It didn't pay off. It was a waste of fucking time. I started doing this silly shit where I'm just recording myself, talking into the ether, and having the people. I very much appreciate the few subscribers I have, and the people commenting and liking this and sharing it and everything. Thank you. This feels good. I don't remember the last time anything felt good, and it feels weird. It feels weird for something to feel good. It feels strange and foreign. But I had a epiphany recently, like this weird realization, and that's why I feel so energetic right now. I feel so strangely alive. I don't know how long this will last, but point is, it's because of this, doing this, recording these things, then seeing other people comment in a relatable fashion, and then I feel like I'm relating to them. I'm relating to someone else. Um, that's it's crazy. I didn't think something like that was even possible for me. I never felt like I could relate to anyone or anything, and I see people posting things saying they relate and that they feel strange. Like one person put that they're it's uncomfortably relatable, and I get it. It's uncomfortable because it's something that you don't really get to experience, because everything that's posted on the internet, everything that you see everywhere, is usually in some way or another, as strange as that the content may be, is kind of connects back to these conventional needs, human needs, that come with socializing, that come with creating these networks of friendship and things like that. And that stuff is just weird and not really what we're looking for as a schizoid. Avoidance are avoiding it for different reasons, but respect, I get it. It's crazy. Like I don't want to take part in it. And but this is different. This is strange. And then I started getting this feeling, and I'm like, well, let's go. Let's fucking go. Like let's keep this ball rolling. Um, it's like a dopamine rush. It's really weird. But I think I know what I want to do with this channel now. I know what I want to guide it toward over time. Um, okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. I'm insane. I feel like I'm insane for even considering any of this because it feels like I'm kind of tearing through some fabric of reality, at least for my brain and the way I think about things and the things I'm willing to do and partake in. And it's exhilarating and strange. Okay, so what I'm thinking is this. Okay, listen carefully. Listen very carefully. Especially if you're schizoid. If you're not, then nonetheless, listen. Maybe this is something you want to take part in. This is something you want to. We can figure out together. Which is another weird thing to even be saying, doing anything together. Um, I think, I think that there is a cognitive framework in which we can build that would allow people such as ourselves, like a schizoid, to connect to other schizoids. I know that's already weird, right? To connect to other schizoids in a way that is non-conventional or non-neurotypical. And because many of us lack this ability to connect on a social level, or want to, they even need it to function, we still have this unbearable kind of weird loneliness that we occasionally feel as a schizoid, where we just feel so goddamn fucking just alone. The solitude is gut-wrenching at times. Sorry, somebody just came in, so that kind of messed up my train of thought a little bit here. But the idea is that I think we can connect in a parasocial, non-intimate, no strings attached sort of way. And I think that is what a lot of us schizoids have an issue with, is that when you try to network or connect with other people in any manner for any reason, it always comes with these weird social ties or rules or decorum that is, it feels just icky to us and uncomfortable, and we don't really have the tools to do these things, and then we say the wrong thing or we do the wrong thing, and it becomes a big hassle and a big problem, and it causes us a lot of anxiety and anger and stress that we don't want it. We don't want it. We don't fucking want it. So thinking, okay, so the only reason that happens is because we're told that we don't possess something, like there's something missing, right? That doesn't allow us to partake in those norms. So it also gets in the way of things like our creative pursuits, our ambitions, if you have any, anything really. And I think that a lot of the reason why many schizoids have no ambition or no drive or they lack any kind of sense of motivation is because we have to work within this fucked up framework that doesn't make any sense to us. Like we don't get it. We don't understand why we even have to take part in it. It's painful. It's stressful. It sucks, but it's what it is. So yes, we have to struggle through this reality, this social reality, and it's difficult for us. But what if we didn't have to? What if we didn't always have to? What if? Okay, here. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. So look. So if you search, say, just the word schizoid on YouTube, you start seeing this list of psychologists and therapists and so on, always with the fucking deadpan face, just because we're schizoid, so we're deadpan. So that's all there is to it, right? Anytime you fucking look up a video where you try to learn anything about schizoid, it's just some fucking therapist or guy. No offense to them. I'm sure they're good at what they do, but just somebody that's probably not schizoid just looking at you with like a fucking blank stare. I don't even know. I've seen this one a million times. I don't even know if it's real, honestly. This one just, I don't know. Some of these crack me up because I don't know if they're fake or they're just like actors or what. Yeah, see, it's always the face. It's always the fucking face, right? And the few schizoids you do find, they're gone. They're gone. They probably just, hopefully they didn't off themselves or anything, but or they just decided to move on, or they lost the drive to continue forward, whatever the reason may be. And I think a lot of it has to do with that. I think a lot of it has to do with this okay, so I'm trying to do something with my life that seems to be something I want. All right. I don't know, because it's really difficult for us to really figure out what it is we even want. And then you start doing it, and then people start communicating with you, and you end up in the same with the same problems, where you feel like you have to talk to people that are talking to you, and then then you're just got this like aversion to it, because you think, oh no, it's just gonna be the whole fucking thing again where people talk to me and then things get weird and things make me anxious and angry and uncomfortable, and because I don't want to talk to them because they want all this stuff from me, and it feels intrusive, and It's that feeling when you have a conversation with somebody and then you're just like talking about some subject and you're having a good time until they start trying to tell you about their life or something, and then you just feel weird and you start feeling like, okay, I don't empathize. I don't understand why did we switch? Why did this change? Please fucking stop. And so then you just want to opt out. You're like, I want to opt out of all of this conversation, everything that just happened, because I didn't want to go through this. Like, and it feels intrusive to you because you're like, I didn't ask for this. I'm not doing this to you. Why are you doing this to me? Right? Anyway, I'm rambling a bit, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rant and ramble. That's what I do. Hopefully you can get something out of it. But, okay, so that's part of the reason I think a lot of us opt out. We bail, or we don't relate to things because we create something, and then the way people react to it, generally you don't relate to how they're reacting to what you're creating. And since you're not relating to how they're reacting to your creation or your work or your efforts, you become unmotivated and you can become angry and resentful and can stop, and then you stop going, you stop feeling that motivation. And that makes sense to me, and I get that. But when I started doing this channel and I started talking about things that are inside me, which is weird to begin with, but just doing it, saying fuck it and doing it. And it's just easy to do it like this because, there's nobody actually talking back. And I'm just posting it, you just have to listen. Oh, well. There's no conversation there. So it made it really easy for me to post it. And then I saw people, drop in the comments and saying, oh, I feel like this. I understand this. I also do not like this. I also this. I also that. And I started relating to others, which is crazy. And they're saying they relate to me. And I'm like, wait, this is a connection. This is a connection that's occurring here. But it's in a non-invasive manner. It's a connection that isn't intrusive. Because we're only talking about it as like an overall subject, and you're telling me about your experiences, but you don't expect me to coddle you or tell you how I feel about this or that, or try to connect with you. You're not expecting that because you yourself have trouble connecting. So you respect the lack of connectivity that may occur. Whew. All right, that was a lot. But my point is that I think we can do this. I think there's a way for us to find things that connects us to each other without the baggage, without the problems that come with conventional human connection that we lack or have trouble with. Okay, so, like here, I'm just going to tell you something about myself, okay? Which is, just weird to do anyway, but I'm just going to tell you something about myself. I love adventure, okay? So right now I've been playing a lot of Dragon Quest games, okay? Dragon Quest, I've been playing like a lot of the old school Dragon Quest games. I love it. It's simple, save the princess, save the kingdom, fight against evil, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's these like really grand concepts, these really kind of symbolic mythologies, and I understand stories, narratives. I get how that functions. I get how symbols work and what they mean and the ups and downs of a character drama. And I appreciate all that stuff. I like all that stuff, right? On a non-intimate level, in the sense that, like, it's all internalized. Like, it's all something that I take in and I use for my own internal world, for the building of my own philosophical perspectives and sense of fulfillment and sense of yearning and adventure and so on and so forth, right? And I think what happens with a lot of schizoids is a lot of us, we're bored. We're always bored and unhappy with the reality around us because it doesn't possess any of the qualities that we appreciate the most, that we enjoy the most, right? For me, the greatest thing in all of existence is human imagination, the ability to imagine and create. And from what I've, read about us schizoids or whatever, is that we create these internal worlds because the external world disappoints us and hurts us so much to take part in it. So, and that's mostly, I think, because we have to function in the external world. We have to function within these frameworks. I call it like a cognitive sort of framework that doesn't make sense to us. It makes sense to everyone outside of us. And so we feel lost, we feel confused, right? And so we rather retreat into our fictional or internal worlds, whatever they may consist of. In my case, it's, fantasy and horror. That's the kind of stuff I love. That's the kind of stuff that makes me feel good. So, but when I want to, say, talk about Dragon Quest with somebody, I can do that for hours. I can talk about Dragon Quest for hours. I could sit down with another human being and talk about, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, whatever. The adventures, the characters, the items, the troubles, the issues with the games, the gameplay itself, the story elements that, I like and didn't like, the character development or lack thereof, the symbolic nature of like some of the events that take place in it, and the whole generational thing, family stuff. I can talk about it, all that stuff for hours as concepts. Okay, I can do the same with anything else I'm interested in. And I think a lot of you schizoids can do the same. I think you guys can. I think we love communicating. We just don't like the framework in which communication exists in the everyday world that we have to take part in. And we haven't since we were children. We don't connect to it. So I think the issue isn't so much, and this is why I brought up like all those schizoid videos and all the way that we're described to be. I think they have something highly incorrect about us. I think this idea that we're just uninterested in the external world, and we're uninterested in anything, and we lack this empathy, and we lack this, we're missing this, we don't have this, so on and so forth, right? Okay. You've done the reading, if you've done any reading on being schizoid. And I think a lot of that is because of the framework they're building it around. They're basing, even a psychologist or therapist or whatever, is basing the diagnosis around a framework of consciousness that is incompatible with our framework of how life feels, is experienced, exists, and so on, the priorities that exist within our mind, the way we like to converse, the way we like to experience things. So they're getting the conventional neurotypical framework and then placing us within it, and then going, oh, these are all the things that don't function within them, right? Okay. So what if we get ourselves and we place ourselves within an entirely different framework? One that makes sense to us. Even if it's temporary or like a construct that we can create, it's still something we can use, something very functional. And so maybe, this is my theory, this is my idea, or whatever you want to call it, or this is about how I see it. Maybe some of you have thought of it too, whatever, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about it. Maybe there's a way so that we can create a framework of protocol, discussion, methods, whatever, in which there's a common understanding about how we function, like what commonalities exist, what relatabilities exist, and then we can communicate information and enjoy conversation without the concerns that come with dealing with these outside neurotypical frameworks that don't work with us, that don't function for us. And then also allowing people that do exist in that normal framework, or I don't want to say normal, but you know what I'm saying, the conventional framework, and allowing them into our framework, and then they have to respect our standards of communication and connection. So that, because they are coming into our world, and now they're choosing to experience things through our experiences. And if they don't like it, then get the fuck out, because we have to constantly deal with yours all the time, because it's the vast majority It's the consensus, the vast majority consensus, cognitive social framework that exists in our external reality, right? But if we make a construct that we can share, maybe others that, you know, either have friends that are schizoid or are just curious or have other type of social overt disorders, and maybe they relate to some aspects of being schizoid, they can come and we can communicate with them, and we can enjoy that communication because it's within our own guidelines, our own construct. I don't know if any of this is making any sense. If it makes any sense what I'm saying, please post it, comment, or reinterpret what you think I'm trying to say. I want to, you know, I like sharing ideas. That's another interesting thing, is I think schizoids love sharing ideas. They love building things. I mean, it lists as one of our covert or overt functions that we have this high level of creativity that's just really that lacks any motivation, that lacks any push, because I think of that reason I already mentioned, because we have to live in a framework that is incompatible. And so we can't flourish, we can't grow, we become these black-pilled, bitter, jaded, angry people because we feel trapped. But what if something could be made to not make us feel so trapped, so that we can finally love the things we love, experience the things we want to experience in the ways that we want to experience them, and share them in the ways that we want to share them. And it also makes sense why a lot of us don't partake in stuff like social media, because, well, it's still built around that same exact framework that doesn't work for us, that doesn't function. So what do you think? Is this doable? I mean, because I'm thinking about it, right? Okay, think about this. This is the only reason in my mind that it feels doable. Okay, so a lot of us are obsessive or very interested in particular things, right? I have this obsession with communication, as far as like, I like conversing on topics and learning from those conversations, from other people who have a bigger knowledge or a larger array of knowledge or information on certain subjects that I'm interested in because of its connections to things that I find interesting or that I'm knowledgeable in, right? So that I like learning from others. But obviously I don't like all the bullshit that comes with having to meet new people and talk to them and all that kind of stuff that you're fully aware of, that you know what it is, all that drama, all that garbage. I just want to learn. I just want to learn and expand my understanding of the world around me and construct more for my own internal world, right? As is often said, is we have these vast internal worlds. So why not help each other build those? Why not help each other connect those worlds, right? In a way that's non-intrusive and non-invasive for us. So I think what I'm trying to get at is, okay, so whatever you do for a living, whatever you're good at, whatever your talent is, and if you haven't found it, find it. Do something. Or say you found your talent, but you just feel so unmotivated to share it or push forward or be ambitious pertaining to it because of this lack of framework that you don't have. So then it kills your ambition. It kills your motivation to even continue forward, to do things, to live, right? So imagine if you will, dare I say, right? Imagine being able to say, talk to me. I'm just, not me specifically, but and I'm willing to listen to your concept or your interest, and then my interest can somehow coincide with their interest, or my goal, which is this creation of a community of relatability that can help us flourish and grow in our own custom way. What if that interest of mine, that goal I have, can coincide with your own goals, regardless of what they are, if they're artistic, if they're agricultural, if they're architectural, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you feel, whatever your internal world is constructed of, whatever that feels good, that internal world that makes sense that you've created, because the external world doesn't make sense. What if you can get your things and I can get my things, and we can put them together in a way that feels good, that feels relatable, and then create this network of internal worlds that we can share. But not share, because I know the word share is scary, right? You don't want to share. But not really so much share, but relate. Like, it's kind of like, think of it like almost like this is a terrible example, but like an Animal Crossings kind of thing. You make your own little island, you make your own little world with your own little things, and you have your own little towns, and you have your own thing, you have your own universe, right, that you constructed for yourself, this whole internal world, right? And then we find a way to allow others into it, but within rules, regulations, and maybe a construction of some kind where they cannot dabble with your world. They can only experience it as they will, without necessarily any input from you. It's just available. It's just an open road. It's kind of like you could see, people have visited your internal world, but you don't have, they didn't leave comments, or maybe if you didn't want them to, like, you could decide, I don't want comments, or I don't want this, or I don't want that, or I do want this and I do want that, and this is fine and that's fine. This is really philosophical, what I'm trying to say. As far as like, it's kind of seems all intangible and all over the place, but I think there's a way for us to grow, and I think there's a way for us to connect schizoid to schizoid that's new and different and hasn't been done and wasn't available to people like us until the advent of the internet, because it could be so parasocial, very disconnected, but yet connected. And I think perhaps that ability, or doing something like that, can fill some of that hole, fill some of that gap inside of us, that loneliness, that outsiderness, that alien feeling of never belonging to the world in any real way, in any real capacity. I think there's something we can do. So whatever your profession is, whatever your talent is, whatever you're good at, I don't care what it is. You play guitar, you like music, you know how to create cool music, whatever. There's ways for us to help each other, build each other's internal worlds without ever actually invading each other. Because we wouldn't be using the same social framework that we are so averted to stay away from. We'd be using something we make, a community we create. Because it's kind of like this, okay? If a schizoid goes up to another schizoid, let's just say, okay, I'm assuming whoever I'm talking to is, but they might not be. Okay, so assuming that you're schizoid, right? Or you believe yourself to be, or whatever, or you relate to these things I'm saying. And then I go up to you, and I start talking about something I'm interested in, right? And then you want to be able to tell me, okay, I want to continue this conversation because I am finding that your interest, or this conversation, this communication, is connecting to my own internal world and my own views, and so we can share and learn from one another. So this conversation, I want it to continue forward, right? But if for some reason I'm talking to you and that is not the case, and it's not quite clicking with you, and it's just feeling kind of pointless, or like you're uninterested, imagine being able to just tell me, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in what you're saying right now. Can we cease the conversation? And then the other person going, yes, of course. And then that person moves on to someone else that might be interested in what they have to say. And then the person that was listening that wasn't can move on to something or another conversation that is more interesting to them, or that connects to their internal world in a more real way. And no one's feelings are hurt because you're dealing with schizoids. I mean, we would just be like, okay, that makes sense. Why would I want to continue telling somebody something that they're not interested in? And why would I want them to pretend as if they are interested? I don't want to do that. Why would I want others to do that? That's stupid and pointless, right? And I mean, there's people in your life, maybe you want them to do that or make that effort to understand or love what you love, but that's the very few intimate people that might exist in your incredibly tiny social network. But outside of that, imagine being able to just talk to others without those concerns, without those worries. Or creating a space in which everyone that goes into it knows, okay, this is what they're in for. So if they don't like it, then I guess you shouldn't be in this space. You shouldn't be communicating here because this is a different place. This place is a different world. This is a different framework in which honesty thrives, in which direct honesty and almost a lack of tact exists, and it's okay. Because you just say, I don't want to talk to you. And the other person says, okay. Well, I don't want to talk to you because you don't want to talk to me then. And that's fine. No one is hurt. No sense of rejection occurs. That is a schizoid utopia in my view. And imagine just being able to, say you're working on something, right? You're working on let's just say you're designing something. Say you're an artist, or you're a poet, or you're an engineer, or a mathematician, whatever it is, whatever. You're doing historical research, something I would want to do. Okay? And imagine just going up to other people. Sorry, I got interrupted again. Okay. So yeah, imagine, and then you go up to someone else and you show them what it is you're making or creating. And they know you don't care about their opinion. And they know, because, going into it, we know, like, that's the idea of creating this sort of framework. They know you don't give a fuck about what they think about your thing. You just want whatever knowledge they possess in order to construct further your thing. And then both parties are okay with it and respect it. That's fucking amazing. Right? Imagine how much you could flourish and grow in an environment like that as someone that's schizoid. Imagine how that would change things for you. How would we make this? How can we do this? Look, I have my own talents. I can communicate. I can talk. I'm good at talking. I'm good at conversing. I'm good at disassembling and reassembling ideas, and I can get into really abstract shit. I'm very good at that. I have to admit it to myself. But I'm not good at everything. I'm not good at a lot of things because I'm not interested in a lot of things. But how can we help? But couldn't we help each other via the things that we individually have constructed our internal worlds out of? And instead of helping one another in order to construct or improve the external world, we can instead have communication for the purposes of constructing better internal worlds, healthier internal worlds, less lonely internal worlds. Internal worlds that are actually networked, but only to the standards that are comfortable for the individual. But then we can grow and essentially connect. Connect in a schizoid manner. And I think that's where they got it wrong with us. We want to connect. We just don't want to connect the way people connect, generally. We want to do things. We want to grow. We want to live. We just don't want to do those things in the same manner that others perceive to be the correct manner to do so. All right? So that was the thought. What do you think? Subscribe, like, whatever the fuck you want to do. That's not what matters here. But it's important so that we can grow this. What steps do you think we can take? What things can happen? What can we do? Give me some theoreticals. Come up with some crazy ideas, concepts, whatever. Just throw shit out there at me. I also have a Twitter. I only use it for this. So on Twitter, message me or leave comments or whatever. Tag me, as they like to say. But just communicate with me. Communicate with me. Okay? I'm not... I understand what you are, and I know what I am. Communicate with me. What ideas do you have? What can we do? Could somebody one day build a website? Can somebody one day construct an app? Or maybe some kind of Reddit forum or Discord kind of thing? Like, just give me ideas. What? How can we connect to one another in a way that makes sense to us? And it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to the rest of the world. Fuck them. Fuck them. Shit on them. We have to deal with their fucking world all the fucking time just to be alive, right? Just to go to the store, have a job, shit like that. We don't have a choice, okay? Let's remove them from the equation. What can we make so that it's functioning within our equations? I know it's madness, right? Madness. But why the fuck not? Let's revel in some of that madness. What can we do? Leave a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Tell me what you think, please. Thank you for listening.